Today is Wednesday, February 22nd, 2017. This is the Government News Brief. In the news, a director of the Caribbean Development Bank lauds the creation of Guyana's Sovereign Wealth Fund. The Ministry of Public Health urges importers to comply with animal food import legislations, and loggers are likely to benefit from the government's housing program. Stay tuned for these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renetta LaFleur. Here are the details. The creation of a sovereign wealth fund is a welcome and necessary move, says the director of the CDB. Paul McAdam reports.
The creation of a sovereign wealth fund, Caribbean Development Bank Economic Director Dr. Justin Ram says, is a key component in ensuring accountability by government. This is especially, so he notes, as Ghana moves to take advantage of its recent oil and natural gas discoveries offshore.
We have historical evidence in other oil territories to suggest that because of that, a lack of transparency and accountability in some territories, that has led to the misuse or the misallocation of resources. The more that the population can see, first of all, how much the government is earning from that sector, or from all of the mining sectors. Secondly, what that revenue is being used for, how the government is spending it. That's going to be only beneficial to Guyanese in the long run. Because if the government is accountable to the people, they will ensure that they spend the money to get the best value for it and spend it where the people want that money to be spent.
The CDB director notes that Ghana needs better infrastructure to enhance international linkages, such as the road to Brazil, better seaports, better access to quality education, healthcare, and housing. These are some areas he feels that the government should spend some of its windfall from the extractive industry on. These additional funds, the CDB director emphasizes, must be managed properly.
Individuals who work in the oil sector tend to earn more than individuals who work in other sectors, and that tends to drive inflation within the economy to a higher level. Other individuals in other sectors will now start to demand higher wages. This is well documented across the world, and so that then tends to drive up labor costs throughout the entire economy, and therefore make other industries that are also very important for the Guyanese economy less competitive. And here I'm speaking primarily about agriculture.
Dr. Ram feels that the creation of a sovereign wealth fund is therefore very important.
Any country that is exploiting a natural resource that is exhaustible over time needs to ensure that you save some of the proceeds from the exploitation of that resource for posterity, for future generations. So actually developing a sovereign wealth fund at this point in time is very, very important for Guyana to help save some of the revenues that it would receive from all of its mining industries, not only oil and gas, but also from the gold as well.
The CDB director gave Gina an exclusive interview during the Caribbean Development Bank's annual news conference in Barbados recently. Paul McAdam for the Government News Brief.
The Veterinary Public Health Director appeals to importers to comply with the animal food import legislations in order to safeguard citizens' health. Zanil Williams has the details.
The Veterinary Public Health Unit has recognized that importers must be compliant with the laws and regulations for importation of animal-originated foods. The director of this unit, Joshua De Silva, says that this will guarantee food safety and proper food hygiene and promote better health for citizens.
I would say poultry is one of the concerns. Chicken. That chicken must not be imported illegally. Whoever wants to import chicken must go to the relevant authorities, like the Ministry of Business, to ensure that they have the relevant quota, to the Ministry of Agriculture to ensure that also approval is given there, to our Ministry of Public Health, to make sure that the approval is also given. before importation.
In cases where importers fail to obtain legal clearance for importation of animal foods, it is possible that persons could be exposed to purchasing and consuming standard food. The Government Analyst Food and Drug Department, the Guyana National Bureau of Standards, and the Guyana Livestock Development Authority all play a role in ensuring that standards are in place, import samples are thoroughly tested, and foods are ideal for human consumption.
We just pleading to the public that they must stop whatever apparent illegal trade with poultry into our country and to follow the procedure. The same goes for fish and fishery products, specifically when it comes to shrimp. And the well-known one is the black shrimp in the quarantine. We need that to stop. We asking that the importers or those who do trade with them must follow the procedure.
The Hazard Analyst Critical Control Point, HACCP, is a management system in which food safety is addressed through the study and control of biological, chemical, and physical hazards. The systems allow for close monitoring of foods meeting standard requirements for human consumption from raw material production, procurement and handling to manufacturing, distribution and consumption of the finished product. Zenil Williams reporting for the Government News Brief.
Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman will engage the Ministries of Communities and Public Infrastructure to ensure that loggers benefit from government's housing program. Details in this Tiffany Rogers report.
Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman says the government's housing program is ideal for the promotion of lesser species of logs.
It is our intention, not just hope, but our intention to ensure that small loggers and others get a chance and be given the opportunity to supply the government of Guyana with logs for homes, for rafters, for flooring and so forth.
The utilization of lesser-known species in government projects is one way to boost the small logging associations, Minister Trotman says. The government has been advocating for value-added production in the forestry sector. The Ministry of Natural Resources has undertaken a review of the national log export policy and forest policies towards facilitating greater harmony in the use of the forest. Minister Trotman explains.
Well, we've made tremendous progress, and in the case of the log export policy, there's a short consultancy which is now just streamlining that. And insofar as the forest policy, there was an ad in the papers late last year for another consultancy to refine those.
The implementation of the new policies is expected to be executed when the new Guyana Forestry Commission's board is appointed. For the Government News Brief, Tiffany Rogers.
Several synthetic tracks are slated to be constructed in 5 regions across Guyana. This is coming to realization with 2 of the regions already making proposals. Isaiah Braffett tells us more.
The sum of $210 million was allocated in the 2017 national budget for the construction of synthetic tracks in regions 2, 4, 6, 7, and 10. Members of the Mackenzie Sports Club Committee in Region 10 have already made a proposal to the National Sports Commission asking for one of the tracks to be built at their club's ground. Director of Sports Christopher Jones tells us more.
They went ahead and do a proposal which sought to see the synthetic track being laid at the Mackenzie Sports Club ground. They would have invited me to look at their drawings and of course hear from them why they believe that the track should be laid at their space.
There is also another proposal for the same region for the laying of a synthetic track in Bayrock.
This is being piloted by the Member of Parliament, Mr. German Figuera, which sought to have the synthetic track laid in Bayrock. And of course he too as well to submit a proposal, and all of that will be submitted, and of course feasibility as to where it should be, that will be done, and subsequently a decision will have to be made by the people of Linden, not the ministry at all.
The director also met with the mayor and councillors of New Amsterdam for the laying of the synthetic track in Region 6.
So far it looks like they are inclined to have the track laid at the Bornham Park. So we would have done a site visit with their technical people, and subsequent to that they would have already submitted a proposal which shows the synthetic track being laid at the Bornham Park. So that proposal has been submitted to P.S. King for review by P.S. King and Minister Henry.
Once completed, the tracks will be similar to the Leonora facility where provision is made for playing football. Isaiah Prophet for the Government News Brief.
The St. Peter's Anglican Church in Leguan is worthy of restoration and maintenance for tourism purposes, according to Minister of Business with Responsibility for Tourism, Dominique Gasking. Details in this report. Originally constructed in 1827, the St. Peter's Church will be celebrating its 190th anniversary this year. Minister Gaskin, in a recent visit to the church, says that the historical site is being assessed as a tourist attraction.
It's just one of many attractions that we have in Guyana that we need to be more aware of, familiarize ourselves with, and try to promote whenever possible.
The church, which still functions, was first opened for service on December 9, 1827. It was pointed out that some form of restoration needs to take place on the building and the surroundings. The minister says this could result in a wonderful day tour package for tourists.
The attractions do have historical value. They're of significance to Guyana's history as well as European history and even South American history.
At the left of the northwestern entrance stands a detached bell tower surmounted by an octagonal brick spire. The church, located on 10,843 acres, is regarded as one of the finest brick structures constructed in Guyana. It testifies to the artistry and craftsmanship of local builders. The draft National Tourism Policy calls for the acceleration of plans for the demarcation and upgrading of heritage trails and districts in Georgetown, Essequibo, and Berbice. Guyanese will observe the country's 47th Republic anniversary tomorrow. Following the elaborate flag-raising ceremony this evening, there will be a grand costume and float parade tomorrow that will traverse along Brick Dam en route to Durban Park Homestretch Avenue. Dubbed Mashramani, the event, which is a celebration after hard work, will encompass numerous facets of Guyana's rich cultural heritage. Mashramani is a day that allows Guyanese to truly reflect their history and the melting pot of cultures that has emerged to represent the six peoples. Numerous cultural activities, competitions, and the children's parade were held earlier in February. Gina encourages you to be safe and have an enjoyable Mashramani celebration. We have come to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on Gina's website. Gina has an active Facebook page, and we encourage you to visit and like us so you can be informed as the news unfolds. You can also visit our website and YouTube channel. Remember to join us on Friday for another edition of the Government News Brief. I am Renetta LaFleur. Thank you for watching.